So if you just got a new iPhone 16 or 16 Plus and are wondering how to use it, you've come to the right video. Today, I'm going to show you how to navigate the home screen. I'm going to show you what each of the apps that come installed on the phone do. And of course, I'm also going to show you what each of the buttons on the exterior of the phone do. I promise at the end of this video, you will have all of the fundamentals to properly navigate your new iPhone. But anyways, that being said, let's begin as always with the home screen. So this is what you will see once you unlock your device. This is basically where you store your widgets, which are little windows that display information, and where you will store your app icons, which, as you probably know, are the windows, so to say, to the apps. Now, I think by default, you only have 2 pages on your home screen, but you can create as many pages as you want to store, of course, as many app icons and widgets as you want. So if you want to do that, you just have to tap and hold on an icon and then move it to the right to create a new page. Now you can store as many icons and widgets as you want here, and you can do it as many times as you want. So you swipe to the right. Once again, you have a new home screen page to store icons and widgets. Now, always, you can, of course, have as many, as I said, pages as you want, but the last page at the right will always be your app library. This is basically where you will find every single app you have on your device. So you can think of your homepage as the place where you store your most used apps, the ones you use daily. And then you can have everything else right here properly organized on the app library. Now, if you don't find your app right here on the selected folders, which, by the way, something you should know is that these folders are created by Apple and you cannot arrange them as you please. So these are fixed. If you don't find your app in the selected folders, you can always tap here at the top on the search bar and type your app. Amazon, for example, you'll find it here. And if you want to move it to the home screen, you just have to tap and hold and move it like this to any page on your home screen you desire, like this one, for example. There it is. Now, of course, as you've seen in this video, you can also move the apps and the widgets and change their location to customize your home screen. So if you want to move a widget, you have to tap and hold on the icon and then move it anywhere you want. So you can move it here at the bottom or right here in the middle or put it back at the top. And then you have also full customization for the icons. So once again, you tap and hold, move it a little bit to activate the wiggle mode, and then you can literally place any icon anywhere you want on your home screen. It is that simple. Now, that said, let's talk a little bit about app navigation, meaning how to navigate the individual apps on your phone. As always, let's begin with the phone app, which is probably the most important you'll find. If you want to enter the app, you just have to tap it for a second, not hold it, just tap it like this, and you will enter the app. As you can see, the phone app is relatively simple. You'll find 4 different menus down below, which are your favorite contacts, which is the people you call most. So you can store them here so you can have easier access to call them in a faster way. You have your recent calls, which is going to display all of your calls you've had in the previous couple of days. Then you have your contact list, which, as the name suggests, is every single person that you have on your device as your contact. And then you have a keypad right here so you can dial any number you want and call it manually. Now, that said, if you want to leave the phone app, what you want to do is you want to swipe from the bottom and up like this. Now, for some people, this can be a little finicky because you want to do it at a certain speed. So let me do it again. You want to tap to open and then quickly swipe up to leave the app. Now, that said, let's move on to the second most important app on your phone, which is the camera app. This is the app, of course, you are going to use to take all of your photos and videos. So once again, if you want to open the app, you want to tap like that, and then you'll find the camera menu. This can be a little confusing. As you can see, there's a lot of icons and menus, and you can get a little overwhelmed with all of the options you have, but it is actually pretty simple. So the app is always going to default in photo mode. So when you open the app, you can quickly take a picture just like that by tapping this button right here, and the photo will be automatically stored in your photo gallery. Now, as you can see, there's 3 little numbers at the top. These are the focal lengths for the camera. Pay close attention. So the smaller the number, the wider the focal length is going to be for your pictures. So if we tap on 0.5, it is going to be a very wide focal length. As you can see, we have taken a very wide angle picture. But if we tap on 1, there it is. We are going to take a more zoomed in photo. And then of course, if we tap on 2x, we are going to take a very zoomed in photo. As you can see, this is the 0.5 photo, very wide. This is the 1x photo, which is sort of like a middle ground between the two. And then this is the zoom, the 2x, which is more, zoomed in on the plant in this case. Now, of course, as you can see beyond photo, there's plenty other menus. We have portrait photos, spatial video and photos. We have panoramic. We have video. We have cinematic. There's a lot of menus, and this can get a little confusing. So what I suggest is if you're new to the iPhone and you're new to the camera app, you stick with the traditional photo and video, which are, as you can see, close together. So you can tap on video, tap on photo, like that. It's very easy. And the menus are pretty much identical on both. So as you can see for video, you can it defaults on the 1x mode, which is, as I said, at the middle ground focal length. If you want to start recording, you want to tap here. And then if you want to stop recording, you can tap again. Automatically, that video will be stored in your photo gallery, just like the photos we've taken earlier. As you can see, we also have the menu for 0.5x, 1x, and 2x, which works exactly the same way as with photos. And something you should know is that the phone takes care of everything automatically. The exposure, the focus, the colors, so you don't have to worry about any of those things. If you want to capture a video, just tap here, and it will automatically start recording and adjusting all of the settings automatically, so you can get a good looking video without having to maneuver, which of course makes things very easy. Now, something else you should know about the camera app is that you have rear cameras, as you can see on the back of the phone, but you also have a front-facing camera right here at the top. You can see it better right now on the home screen. It's located right here on the pill, on the dynamic island. Now, if you want to switch to that front-facing camera, you want to tap on this button right here at the bottom right of the phone. You tap it once, and automatically, as you can see, you are going to flip to the front-facing camera. If you want to switch back to the rear cameras, you want to tap again, and automatically, the rear cameras are going to be back in action. Now, much like with the phone app, if you want to leave the camera app, you want to quickly swipe from the bottom of the phone. Now, another very important app you'll find on your phone is the Messages app. This is the app you'll most likely use to communicate with your family members and your friends. If you want to open it, you just have to, as we've seen with the other apps, tap on it for a second. And if you want to create a new message or send a new message to someone, what you want to do is you want to tap on this button right here at the top right, then select a contact, and then right here, type your message, whatever you want, and then hit this button right here. Of course, I don't have any contact selected, so it doesn't let me send it. But yeah, you just have to tap here, type in your contact, then type in the message, and send the message. Automatically, once that's done, a new conversation will be created where you can basically receive messages and then send messages just like that. So you don't have to create a new message every time you want to send a message to someone. Once you do it, there is going to be a conversation with all of your stored messages you can access so you can keep talking to that person. Once again, if you want to leave the Messages app, you want to quickly swipe from the bottom of the phone. Now, that said, there is another very important app you need to know how to use properly on your new iPhone, which is the browser. Every time you want to search for something on the internet, you have to access your browser. And in this case, the browser on the iPhone is this app right here, the blue and white one called Safari. So much like with the other apps, you just want to tap on it for a second. It is going to open it up. And as you can see, at first glance, it can be a little bit confusing. There's all these favorite websites already stored there by default. You have all of these different reading lists. It can be a little confusing. If you just want to search for something specifically, which is most likely what you want to do on your browser, you want to tap here on the search bar at the bottom and then type in whatever you want. So for example, I'm going to type in dogs. There it is. And then you want to type in on Go if you want to search, or you can take a look at the suggested search results just in case you find something more interesting. But in this case, I just want to type in dogs. So I'm going to then tap on Go. And as you can see, automatically I get the classic Google search for the word dogs. So we can get some information, we can get some websites. As you can see, Wikipedia, we can tap there and access as much information about dogs as we want. But of course, this is when things get a little problematic or complicated, because I am in the Wikipedia page for dogs. How do I get back to the Google page, the main page? There is no buttons on the phone. There's no clear indications. Well, it's actually pretty simple. What you want to do is you want to swipe from the left side of the phone like this to the right, and automatically you're back on the previous page. Now, if you want to go back to the Wikipedia page on dogs, you can of course tap on the search result again and access the website, but you can also swipe from the right side of the phone to the left, so the opposite movement, and go back to the Wikipedia page. This is really convenient, so you can swipe back and forward in a very simple and convenient way if you master, so to say, these movements. Of course, they are not super complicated, but let me say it once again. You want to slowly and calmly rest your finger on the left or right side and then calmly swipe. Once you want to leave, of course, the browser, you just want to swipe from the bottom, as we've done with every other app, and you are back in your home screen. Now, probably the most important app on your phone is this one right here, the Settings app. Every control and tweak and adjustment you want to do to your device is going to be done in this app right here. So there's a couple things you should know so you can properly use your new iPhone, and also so you can get it to work as expected. So let's tap on the Settings app. As you can see, it is a little too complex. There's many menus and options, and it's a little overwhelming. But what you should know is that most of these things are not meant to be tinkered with. So most of these menus and submenus, you're not going to need to enter or use in any way. What you want to know is there is three specific menus you want to learn and properly know how to use, so you can fix most of the potential issues you may have on your device, and so you can learn how to customize it the right way. Now, these three menus are first, the connectivity settings, which is this group of settings right here. Then you want to know how to use the action button, which we'll take a look at later. And then you want to be able to control and change your display settings. So that said, let's begin with the connectivity settings. As you can see, you have your airplane mode at the top. This is pretty straightforward. If you are on an airplane and you need to turn off all of your connections, you can simply tap here on airplane mode, and your Wi-Fi will be disabled, your Bluetooth will be disabled, your mobile services will be disabled, so you don't interfere with the plane connections. It is that simple. You just have to tap here, and then once the plane lands, or you can use your connections on your device, you just have to tap once again on the button, and you'll be back to normal with all of your connections. Now down below here, you'll have your Wi-Fi settings. These are also very important. So for this, you want to tap on Wi-Fi. There it is. And here you'll find all of your Wi-Fi connections that are available. So if you are in your house, you will probably find your Wi-Fi network right here. Whatever name you've used or you have gotten for your Wi-Fi network, your router will show up here. And then if you want to connect to that Wi-Fi network, you just have to tap on it and then introduce the password. Now, if your Wi-Fi network is not showing up right here and you're having trouble connecting to Wi-Fi, there's two very likely issues you're having. One is that you are very far away from the router, so ideally you want to get a little closer until you see the name of your router show up. And then the second is that maybe there is a connection issue, for which a lot of times it is as simple as turning Wi-Fi off, turning it back on, and very likely you'll see your router name on your settings. Now back here to the main settings page, you also have your Bluetooth settings, which you may use, you may not use, depends on what accessories you have for your phone. If you have AirPods, you probably don't have to worry about it because they connect automatically. But if you have other wireless earbuds or headphones, you will probably need to connect to those via Bluetooth. So what you want to do is you want to turn that accessory on, and then it will probably show up right here. If you want to connect, then you want to tap on that device. In this case, it is not going to connect because my AirPods are far away, but if it's nearby, it will automatically connect, and there will be a Bluetooth connection between those two devices. Then down below, another very important setting is the mobile service settings or your cellular settings. These are the settings, of course, you need to be able to connect to the internet on your cellular plan, but very likely you won't be needing to access these settings because it all happens automatically. As you can see in this case, nothing shows up because I don't have a SIM card on this phone, so I'm going to use my other iPhone so you can get a better idea on how this will look on your device. So as you can see, there is a bunch of settings that are complicated to understand and confusing. The good news is that, once again, Apple is very smart, and most of these things are done automatically, so you don't have to worry about tweaking or changing any of these things. All you need to know is that if your SIM card is on your device and you've entered your PIN, your connection should be on automatically without you having to do anything else. Now, that said, as you can see, we have the battery settings down below, which are not really that useful. There's not much to do here, but there is actually something I want to show you. So if you tap on battery and then you tap on battery percentage and turn it on, you'll see that the percentage of battery you have on your phone will show up at the top right of the device. So I think by default, every iPhone has this turned off for some reason, so you cannot see how much battery you have left. I suggest you turn it on for a better measure. Now, as I said, the second menu you want to learn on the settings of your iPhone is the action button settings, but we are going to take a look at those later when we talk about the external buttons on the phone. So let's talk about the third important menu you have to understand on your settings, which are the display and brightness settings. So if you tap here, as you can see, there's plenty options to choose, but it is actually pretty simple to understand. So first of all, as you can see, you have two appearances that you can have on your iPhone. The light one, which is the one that you will have by default, which makes everything look clear and white. And then you have the dark theme, which is going to make everything look dark, black, or more obscure, so to say, which, it's a matter of personal preference. This one is a little bit more comfortable to the eye at night, but I believe the light one looks a little nicer, looks a little bit more uplifting, so to say. But once again, it is a matter of personal preference. Now down below here, you will find a text size menu. If you tap on it, you will be able to choose, like the name suggests, the size of the text on your phone. So if you tap here and you move the circle up, the text will be bigger. And then if you tap on the circle and move it down, the text will be smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, by default, I think the text has a relatively decent size. It is not too small nor big. But if you're having trouble reading some text that's maybe too small on your device, you can move it up 1 or 2 notches, which, as you can see, is going to make the text bigger and more visible. Now, as you can see below the text size menu, we have a bold text option, which, much like the previous option, aids to enhance or make the text on your device more visible, in this case by making it bold or more pronounced, so you can have an easier time reading what's on your device. If you turn it off, as you can see, everything is going to go back to normal automatically. Now, as you can see below, we have a brightness wheel. So If you tap on the circle and move it down, the brightness will decrease. And if you tap on the circle and move it up, the brightness will increase. Now, what you should know about this phone is that it has automatic brightness. So this is going to move automatically depending on the lighting conditions on your room or wherever you are. So you don't have to come here and tweak the brightness every time you feel like your phone is a little too dark or too bright. Automatically, the phone is going to do that for you, which is great. As you can see below, we have a True Tone menu, which basically helps change the colors on your display, or more specifically, the warmth of the display, adjusting it to the lighting conditions on your environment so it looks a little easier on the eye. As you can see, if I turn it off, it is going to look noticeably colder, almost like if there was a blue tint to the display. But if I turn it on, it is going to adjust to the lighting conditions on my room, making everything a little bit warmer, which is also easier to the eye. Now, the last setting you need to change on the display and brightness menu is this one, auto lock, because as you can see, if you tap on it, you'll find it set at around a minute or 2 minutes by default. But as you can see, mine is set at never, which is what I suggest you do. So the way this works is the time you set on the auto lock menu is the time of inactivity is going to take for the phone to automatically lock itself. So if you have it set at 30 seconds and you leave your phone on the desk for 30 seconds without touching it or using it in any way, the display is automatically going to turn off. If you set it at 2 minutes, it will take 2 minutes of inactivity for the display to automatically lock. And if you set it at never, it will never automatically lock. Now, the reason I have it set at never is because there's many times when you're watching a video or reading text on your display where you are not interacting with the phone. Technically, you're not touching the display. So a lot of times, if you have it set at 1 minute or 2 minutes and you're reading something or watching a video, the phone is going to turn off. If you set it at never, you won't have to deal with that. Whether you're touching the display or not, the phone will never automatically turn itself off. But anyways, that said, we have now seen all of the important settings on your settings app. But there's one more thing I want you to learn, and it's how to navigate through the settings. So as you can see, Apple has made this a little easy with a back button right here. So if you want to go back on the settings app, you want to tap on back, back again. And as you can see, you're back at the main settings page. But you can also, and this is something a lot of people don't know, you can also use the technique, so to say, that I showed you with the browser app. So you can tap on the left side and swipe, tap on the left side and swipe to go back and back. Now, something you should know is that on the settings app, unfortunately, you cannot go back to the previous page by swiping from the right. So that technique I showed you only works by swiping from the left. Now, if you want to leave the app, you just have to swipe once again from the bottom and you will be back on your home screen. Now, that said, there is one last app that I want to show you. As you can see, I have some of the apps you will find on your device, which are the default apps you get when you set up your iPhone for the first time. But I also have other apps you probably don't have on your device, like TikTok or Spotify or WhatsApp. And that's because I have downloaded those apps from the App Store. This is the place you want to access when you want to download new apps you want to use on your phone. So like with every other app, if you want to access the App Store, you just want to tap on it once. There it is. And you'll find a bunch of different menus. That can be a little confusing, but once again, it is actually much simpler than you think it is. So as you can see, there is 5 different menus at the bottom: Today, Games, Apps, Arcade, and Search, that I'm going to explain now so you can have an easier time navigating the App Store. So the first one is Today. This is basically a homepage for the App Store. It is a scrollable menu, so you can swipe down, down, down to take a look at the different apps, which in this case are selected apps by Apple they think you may want to use or take a look at or download. Then we have the games menu, which is going to display, of course, all of the games available on the App Store. Once again, it is a scrollable menu, and it gives you different types of categories of games. What we're playing, most played games, the best free games, the best paid games. So you can take a look. If you want to enter, of course, a chart, you want to tap right here, and you'll see a full list of the top paid games in this case. Then, as you can see, we have an apps menu, which is basically the same as with games, but with apps. So it's a scrollable menu. You'll find different categories of apps, the best free apps, the best paid apps. You can, once again, take a look at the full list so you can see what's interesting, what's not interesting. And if you want to go back, you can tap on the left, swipe to the right. Now, something you need to know is if you want to download one of these apps, you will have to tap on the Get button, and automatically you'll be greeted, here it is, with your Apple account password request. You need to enter for security measures, of course, the password you have on your Apple ID or Apple account every time you want to download a new app. Now, if you see this icon right here, the iCloud icon, is because the app had already been installed in another device that was connected to your Apple account. So in that case, you won't have to enter your Apple ID password. So in this case, ChatGPT has already been downloaded with another phone with my account. So I just have to tap on it once, and there it is. It will automatically show up on my home screen and start downloading. In a couple seconds, your apps will be fully downloaded and ready to enter. It is that simple. Now back here on the App Store, let's take a look at the last two menus. One of them is Arcade, which is a paid service for basically more premium games that you can use if you are into phone gaming. So I think it's $6.99 a month, and you have access to all of these premium phone games, but it's more like a niche service for people who really play a lot of games on their phones. Last but not least, this is the search bar, which is going to be your best friend in the App Store, because if you tap on the bar right here at the top, you will be able to type any app you want and it will display that app on the App Store. So let's type in YouTube, for example. There it is. As you can see, there's suggested results, so you don't have to fully type in the word most of the time, YouTube, and automatically it will greet you with a page where you'll find YouTube. So you can download it, update it if it's already installed, or get it for the first time. Now, once again, if you want to leave the app, you just want to swipe from the bottom and up, and you'll be back to your home screen. So, okay, up until this point, we have dominated the apps. We know where they are on the home screen. We know where they are on the app library. We know how to search for each specific app here. We have taken a look at the way the most important apps on the phone work. But what about the widgets? As I said, the windows that display information that you can also place on the home screen on your phone. Well, if you want to use widgets, all you need to do is to type anywhere you want on your display and hold. There it is. Then you want to tap on Edit at the top left of the phone, and then you want to tap on Add Widget. There it is. Here you will find all of the widgets that are available for your iPhone. So as you can see, I have the weather app, a photos widget, maps widget, notes widget. Pretty much every app that has a widget available will show up here. And you can also, swiping down, take a look at each individual app on your phone and see if there is a widget available for that app. So in this case, let's type on YouTube. As you can see, there's two different widgets available for the YouTube app. And if you want to add a widget, you just have to type here on Add Widget. There it is. And boom, the widget will automatically be added to your home screen. As you saw earlier, if you want to move the placement of that widget, you just want to tap and hold and place it anywhere you want on your home screen. Now, if you want to delete the widget, which is also something you may want to do, you want to tap on this little minus button right here at the top left of the widget. You want to tap on it once, there it is, and then you want to tap on Remove the YouTube widget, the red button right here. Automatically, the widget will disappear. Now, that said, let's go back to the widgets menu, because I showed you how to add a widget from a specific app, typing here on add widget. But what about the widgets that are here? How do I add the widgets that are at the top to the home screen? Well, these are actually easier to add. You just want to tap and hold once again, swipe up, and automatically you can place that widget anywhere you want on your home screen. Once again, you can put it anywhere you want, in the middle, below. And if you type on the minus icon and type remove, the widget will disappear. Okay, so we now control the home screen, the apps, and the widgets. It is time to talk about the external buttons on the phone. There is a couple buttons on the iPhone 16, and they are not all super clear on what they do. So let's begin with the buttons right here on the left side. As you can see, we have two buttons that are very similar to each other. These are the volume buttons. So if you tap on the one at the top, you will increase your volume. And if you tap on the one that's below, you will decrease your volume. Now, if you want to do it faster, you can also tap and hold, and the volume will go up faster. And you can tap and hold, and the volume will go down also faster. Now, the one that's here at the top is actually a customizable button called the Action button. You probably remember I told you there's 3 different things you want to control in the settings: the connectivity settings, the display and brightness settings, and the Action button, which I said we were going to talk about later. Well, it is time to talk about it because this right here is the Action button. As you can see, if I tap and hold on the Action button, it is going to turn on the flash, but that's because it is the action that I set the button to do. So if you tap here on the Action button menu on the settings, you'll see there is multiple different things you can enable by tapping and holding on the Action button. Let's take a look at some of them. So first of all, if you swipe all the way to the left, you'll access the silent mode functionality. So if you tap and hold on the Action button, the phone will automatically become silent. And if you tap and hold again, the phone will be able to make noises again. Now, if you swipe from the right to the left, you'll have access to another functionality, which is a focus mode. This is a little confusing, so we'll take a look at it in another video. It's a topic for another day. If you swipe from the right to the left again, you'll have access to the camera functionality. So as you can see, when we tap and hold, it opens the camera automatically. And the interesting thing about this is that you can set it to open a specific menu within the camera. So if you tap right here on photo, you'll see there's actually more options. You can type selfie, video, portrait, or portrait selfie. And when you tap and hold on the Action button, you'll open the camera app with this menus enabled. So let me show you with, for example, a video. If I tap on video and then tap and hold on the Action button, automatically I will not only open the camera app, but I will open it in the video menu. If we swipe from the right again, we access the torch, which is the option that I had turned on by default. As you can see, tap and hold, it turns on or off the torch or flash. Then we have the option to create a new voice memo. We have the option to turn on to recognize music with Shazam, to translate things automatically. There's, as you can see, plenty other options. Some of them can be a little complex, like shortcuts or control center. So I suggest you work with the ones right here, either silent mode or the camera or the torch. These are the ones that I recommend you turn on or use with your Action button. Now, once you set a specific functionality for the button, you don't have to do anything else. You can just swipe out of the menu to go back to the main settings page, or you can swipe from the bottom to go back to the home screen. It is automatically going to be saved, and every time you press and hold the Action button, it is going to perform the action you selected. Now, that said, as you can see, there's 2 more buttons on the right side of the phone, which are a little complex because they perform multiple different things. So first of all, this button right here at the top is the power button. So if you press it once, it is automatically going to lock your iPhone. But if you tap and hold on the power button, you can actually turn on Siri, which, as many of you know, is a simple assistant that can perform a range of different activities, like setting an alarm for tomorrow or giving you the weather in a specific place. Set an alarm for 7 a.m. tomorrow. And it creates an alarm for 7 a.m. It is, of course, not going to do as many things as an AI assistant like ChatGPT can do, but for simple things like this, it is actually pretty handy. Now, last but not least, as you can see, we have another button called the camera control button that, like the name suggests, is going to let you access the camera. So if you tap on the button once, it opens the camera. If you tap on the button again, it takes a picture. It can be a little confusing because, as you saw earlier, the action button can also technically open the camera. So you can have two buttons opening the camera at the same time, which is a little confusing and a little inefficient. So I suggest you set the action button to anything but the camera opening functionality because you already have a camera opening functionality with the camera control button. Now, two more things you need to know to properly navigate your iPhone is that there is a notifications page, which is basically going to show you all of your notifications. In this case, I don't have any, but they would show up right here. If you swipe from the top of the phone, and you have a control center page, which you access swiping from the top right of the device, only the top right, and that can let you control, well, all of the things we saw in the settings page earlier in an easier way. So as you can see, you can control your connectivity settings, you can control your brightness, you can toggle the flash. All of the things we've been seeing in this video can be enabled or disabled in a much easier way by swiping from the top right and accessing the control center. You can even open the camera app automatically. It is actually pretty useful. Now, you are probably a little confused, so I'm going to say it again. Swiping from the top left or middle, you access the notification center where you'll find all of your notifications. And then swiping from the top right, exclusively the top right of the phone, you can access the control center. Now, just so you can see how the notifications page would look, I'm going to show you on my current personal iPhone. As you can see, if I swipe from the top left or middle, I can see all of the notifications that I have on my device. And if you want to delete a specific notification, you just have to swipe from the right to the left, and it automatically will be deleted. Now, something you should know is that sometimes apps can get a little annoying because they send way too many notifications. So if you want to make a specific app not send you any notifications, it is actually pretty easy. You just have to come to the settings, then you want to go back to the main settings menu. You want to scroll all the way to the bottom where you can see the apps menu. And then you just have to find the specific app that's bothering you. In this case, let's imagine it's ChatGPT. Then you want to tap on notifications, and then you want to tap on allow notifications to turn that feature off. If you do this with any app, it will automatically not be able to send you any notifications, so it can stop bothering you. Another problem you may find is that you're getting way too many notifications from way too many apps, and you're getting overwhelmed, so you want to stop getting any notifications from any apps. In that case, what you want to do is you want to swipe from the top right to access the control center, and you want to tap on this button right here, the bell button. If you tap on it once, the phone will automatically become silent, so there's not going to be any noises, there's not going to be any annoyances, you're not going to get new notification pop-up menus or sounds. And if you want to go back to normal so you can keep receiving your notifications and for the phone to keep making sounds, you can tap on it again and leave the silence mode. That is the way you customize your notifications. But what about the control center? Is there a way that I can customize this menu right here? Well, yes, there is. For doing that, you have to tap and hold in any place of the control center where there's no icons. So ideally at the bottom, tap and hold, and you'll access the menu where you can tweak and change the control center as much as you want. So you can move icons anywhere you want, much like with the home screen. So you can, if you want to move everything to the bottom so it's more easily accessible, you can do that. If you want to delete a specific menu because you're not using it, like this one, you can tap on it once and you can delete it. And then if you want to add or take a look at all of the potential menus or toggles you can have on your control center, you want to tap right here on Add a Control. Here you will find every single toggle or menu or button you can add to your control center. As you can see, there's plenty of options. I'm pretty sure there's also a third-party apps that can create buttons for the control center. So this can actually get pretty interesting. In this case, for example, there's an Instagram button. So if we add the Instagram toggle and we put it there, tap on it, automatically we are going to open Instagram. So there is plenty of ways you can customize the control center to look as you want. This, of course, can get complex too, so I suggest you only do this if you are willing to tinker with the phone for a couple hours to properly figure it out and get the control center as you please. If that's not the case, the default menu is actually pretty convenient. It has most of the toggles you would want to enable on your phone, so you can also leave it as is, and it's going to give you a lot of functionality without having to do anything else. I really hope you liked this video. If that's the case, please hit the like button. And if you have any suggestions or requests for things that I didn't talk about in this video that you want to learn, please tell me in the comments and I will fix it in a future video. That said, have a nice day.